You're sitting in a booth at Triple O's Lounge in South Boston. It's 1985. The bar is dark, the beer is cheap, and every man in the room either works for you or knows someone who does. You're 55 years old. You control the Irish mob in Boston, the Winter Hill Gang. Gambling, loan sharking, extortion, drug trafficking, murder. Your word is law from Dorchester to Charlestown. But here's the part nobody knows. You're also a secret informant for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You've been feeding information to the FBI for 15 years, and in return, the FBI has been protecting you from prosecution. Every investigation that gets close, they shut down. Every indictment that builds, they derail. You are simultaneously the most powerful criminal in Boston and the most valuable snitch in the Bureau's history. Your name is James Joseph Bulger, Jr. They call you Whitey, though never to your face. You hate that name. To your associates, you're Jimmy. To the FBI, you're top echelon informant BS 1554 DE. And you are playing the most dangerous double game in American criminal history. But let's go back. Let's go back to where this all started. You were born on September 3rd, 1929 in Dorchester, Massachusetts. Your father is a longshoreman who loses his arm in an industrial accident. The family moves to the old harbor housing projects in South Boston. Southie, it's an Irish enclave, insular and proud, where everyone knows everyone, and outsiders aren't welcome. You're the oldest of 6 children. Your younger brother Billy is the golden boy, smart, charming, destined for great things. He'll become the president of the Massachusetts State Senate, one of the most powerful politicians in the state. You take the other path. By your teens, you're running with street gangs, stealing, fighting, robbing. At 20, you're arrested for armed robbery and assault. You serve time at Atlanta Federal Penitentiary, then Alcatraz, then Leavenworth. 9 years total. At Alcatraz, you volunteer for the CIA's MKUltra program, a classified experiment involving LSD and other psychoactive drugs. The experience changes you. You emerge harder, colder, and profoundly distrustful of authority, though not above using it. You return to Southie in 1965. You're 35, lean, and dangerous. You join the Winter Hill Gang, led by Howie Winter. You rise quickly, not through recklessness but through calculation. You're patient. You plan. You never raise your voice, and when you kill, you make sure the body is never found. In 1975, an FBI agent named John Connolly approaches you. He's from Southie, grew up in the same projects. He wants you to become an informant. The pitch is simple. The FBI's main target in Boston is the Italian Mafia, the Angiulo brothers, the Patriarca crime family. You help the FBI destroy the Italians, and the FBI protects you from prosecution. You can run your operation without interference. You say yes. It's the most brilliant decision of your criminal career. Over the next 2 decades, you feed the FBI information about the Italian Mafia's operations, meeting locations, hierarchies, illegal activities. The information is real. It helps the FBI build massive RICO cases against the Angielos and the Patriarca family. The Italian mob in Boston is systematically dismantled. And with each Italian arrest, your power grows. You fill the vacuum. By the early 1980s, you control organized crime in Boston. The Winter Hill Gang's operations generate millions per year. You run a protection racket that extorts drug dealers throughout South Boston. You tax every gram of cocaine that moves through your territory. You loan shark at brutal interest rates, and you murder anyone who threatens the operation. The FBI knows about all of it. They look the other way. Connolly, your handler, has become your friend, or more accurately, your accomplice. He tips you off before raids. He tells you when informants are talking. He warns you when grand juries are impaneled. The system designed to stop you is shielding you instead. But you're not just a businessman. You're a killer. Over your career, you're connected to at least 19 murders, though the real number may be higher. You strangle women. You shoot rivals in the head. You bury bodies in basements and along the banks of the Neponset River. Some victims are informants who threaten to expose you. Others are business disputes settled permanently. 2 cases stand out. In 1981, you lure a young woman named Deborah Davis to a house in South Boston. She's the girlfriend of your partner, Stephen Flemmi. She knows too much. You strangle her with your hands while Flemmi watches. Her body is buried in a shallow grave near the Neponset River. In 1982, another young woman, Deborah Hussey, Flemmy's stepdaughter, meets the same fate. Strangled, buried, forgotten. These aren't business killings, they're silencing operations. You kill to protect the secret, the informant arrangement with the FBI. Anyone who might expose the deal is eliminated, and the FBI, your protector, doesn't ask where the bodies are. The arrangement begins to crumble in the early 1990s. A new generation of federal prosecutors, unbeholden to Connolly and suspicious of the FBI's relationship with organized crime, starts investigating. The DA and the Massachusetts State Police, who've been shut out by the FBI for years, launch their own probes. They discover what many suspected. Whitey Bulger is an informant, and the FBI has been actively protecting a mass murderer. In December 1994, you receive a tip, from Connolly, naturally, that sealed indictments are coming. On January 5, 1995, you leave Boston, you take your girlfriend, Catherine Grieg, and you vanish. For 16 years, you are one of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives, listed alongside Osama bin Laden. The reward for your capture reaches $2 million. You're spotted, or rumored to be spotted, in London, South America, and across the United States. In reality, you're hiding in plain sight, a rent-controlled apartment in Santa Monica, California, under the alias Charlie Gasco. You and Catherine live quietly. You walk on the beach, you feed stray cats, you keep $822,000 in cash, and 30 weapons hidden in the walls of your apartment. On June 22, 2011, the FBI receives a tip from a viewer who recognized Catherine Grieg from a television appeal. Agents surround the apartment building. You walk out and surrender without incident. You're 81 years old. You've been free for 16 years. Your trial begins in June 2013 in Boston Federal Court. The charges: 19 counts of murder, extortion, money laundering, drug trafficking, and racketeering. Witnesses, former associates, hitmen, and accomplices, testify about the murders in clinical detail, the body locations, the methods, the FBI's role in enabling all of it. John Connolly, your handler, has already been convicted of racketeering and second-degree murder. He's serving 40 years in a Florida prison. Other FBI agents are reprimanded or fired. The Bureau's Boston office is exposed as one of the most corrupt in American history. On August 12, 2013, you're found guilty on 31 counts, including involvement in 11 murders. The judge sentences you to 2 consecutive life terms, plus 5 years. You show no emotion. On October 30, 2018, you're transferred to USP Hazleton, a high-security federal prison in West Virginia. The next morning, you're found dead in your wheelchair. You've been beaten with a padlock in a sock and stabbed in the eyes. You're 89 years old. No one is ever convicted. Your legacy is not an empire, it's a scandal. You exposed the FBI's darkest secret, that the Bureau was willing to let a serial killer operate freely in exchange for intelligence about another criminal organization. The Boston FBI office became a case study in institutional corruption. Connolly's conviction proved that the line between law enforcement and organized crime had been erased entirely. You're Whitey Bulger, the king of South Boston, FBI informant, serial killer. You ran the Irish mob for 20 years under federal protection, murdered at least 19 people, and hid in a Santa Monica apartment for $1,622,000 stuffed in the walls. And in the end, you died the way your victims did, beaten to death in a room with no witnesses and no one coming to help. That's the truth about criminal empires. Some are built on cocaine or whiskey. Yours was built on information, on the simple, devastating idea that the law itself could be your most powerful weapon. And when the law finally turned on you, the weapon destroyed everything, including you.